Hi Year 6, it's Mrs. Clyne here. I just thought I'd do a very short video on an introduction to our unit of work in maths this week that we're going to be looking at, which, as you know already, is units of measure and how to convert between those. So in particular, we're going to be looking at centimetres, metres, millimetres and kilometres, and that's to measure length. And we're also going to be looking at units of mass, which is weight, which is grams and kilograms. So hopefully by the end of this week, we will all be comfortable in knowing that how to convert between those units of measure, so how to convert millimetres into centimetres and so on, but also knowing and understanding what units of measure are greater than other units of measure and what units of measure we use to measure certain things. So hopefully that all makes a little bit of sense. So before we start, I wanted just to have a literally look at what a millimetre, a centimetre, a metre look like. I can't unfortunately show you what a kilometre looks like because that I would be out the window, literally, because that's far too far for me to show you. But even a metre is a bit of a challenge in this close up, but hopefully you can get a sense of the progression of size, if you like. So I'm going to move my board over because hopefully you can see in front of you I put it on a black background, so it should be a little bit easier to see. So this tiny little strip here, the width of that strip is 1 millimetre. So that's 1 millimetre. And this strip here, the width of that strip is 1 centimetre. So you can see 1 millimetre is smaller, less than 1 centimetre. In fact, you can see that this strip, 1 millimetre, if I were to do 10 strips of millimetres, they would all fit into that 1 centimetre because 1 millimetre is smaller than 1 centimetre, but 10 millimetres is equivalent to 1 centimetre. So I could actually fit 10 of those small strips, 1 millimetre, into that 1 centimetre strip. Okay, and I've got here just a ruler, a normal school ruler that we can see here wobbling around. And you can see, that's a bit annoying, isn't it? I'm just going to try and straighten that. There we go. Yeah, it's going. You can see that that's a 30 centimetre. Now, 1 centimetre, you can see is the blue strip. Now, 100 centimetres, so 100 of those blue strips, if I lay them next to each other, would fit into this. The 1 metre stick. And it's coming across. You can see a 1 metre stick. Now, if I hold up a 1 metre stick literally from the ground, you can see with me sitting down, it's as tall as me, my shoulder here. So 1 metre, the whole of 1 metre, if you can see from where I start here, the end of it. Can you see the end of it? Coming up, there's the end. Can you see how long it goes all the way? In fact, if my arm reaches long enough, all the way to the end here, 1 metre. And that 1 metre is equivalent to 100 centimetres. So I could fit 100 of those in my 1 metre stick. So 1 metre is greater than 1 centimetre, and we need 100 centimetres, excuse me, to make it equivalent to 1 metre. Now, when you're talking about kilometres, kilometres are even greater than metres, and we need 1,000 metres that actually are equivalent to 1 kilometre. So can you imagine 1,000 of these metre sticks? Imagine me laying out 1,000 metre sticks end to end all the way along. I wonder how far we could go down. We reckon I'd end up nearly go to Horsham, but we would get quite far, wouldn't we? So 1,000 metres is equivalent to 1 kilometre. So with that in your head, I want you just to keep that. Those are very important facts, and you really do need to try and learn those, all right, as best you can, because it will help you considerably when you do your unit conversions. So I'm going to just move this along, and I'm going to look at some bar models at the back behind me of looking at what actually those equivalents look like. So we have here, I've got 1 centimetre, you can see is represented in my whole bar at the top. And I've got 1 centimetre is equivalent to, remember that equal signs, equivalent to 10 millimetres. So here we go. I've got 1 millimetre, 2 millimetre, 3 millimetre, all the way along to 10 millimetres. And that is the same as saying 1 centimetre. So if I have a ruler, I'll try and show you a ruler, just a normal everyday ruler. You can see here, let me go to the other one, it's all mirrored, so I have to kind of use my brain to try and get it. So here you've got 1 centimetre, Okay, 1 centimetre from 1 to 2 is got 10 millimetres in there. Right, so here we've got the next one. We've got 1 metre. You've got the whole there, the 1 metre. Remember my metre stick? 1 metre is equivalent to 100 centimetres. Now, I couldn't fit 100 centimetres in there, but I've done it in groups of 10. And you can see that I've got 10 lots of 10 centimetres. So I've got 100 centimetres in that bottom bar there. So you can see that 1 metre is equivalent to 100 centimetres. Obviously, if I was drawing 100 little, that would be really time consuming and difficult for me to draw and also for you to see. But you can see that equivalent, 1 metre equals 100 centimetres. And then the next bar model is showing you 1 kilometre, okay? 1 kilometre is equivalent to 1,000 metres. And again, I couldn't possibly fit in 1,000 metres into this bar here. So I put it into equal parts of 100 metre in equal parts. So 10 lots I've done of 100 metres. So you can see here, these facts here are the ones that you really, really need to learn and to really get those in your head. So what I suggest you do is really spend a bit of time this week really getting those embedded in your head, because without those facts, it's going to be really difficult to do the converting between the two. Okay, so let's have a little think about what is actually happening. Imagine I said to you, and this is where I want you to think about your work from last week when we were looking at the skills of dividing and multiplying by 10, 100 and 1,000. We're going to use that same skill. We're going to need to remember how we did that from last week. Okay, so we're going to look at the first one together now. Imagine you've got, for example, here, I've got here 1 centimetre, which is equivalent to 10 millimetres. Well, what is happening, and I'm going to try and show you in different colours, if I can get my colours. Here they are. La, la, la. Right. Right, what is happening from the centimetres to actually get to, converted from centimetre to get to the 10 millimetre? So what is actually happening from that 1 to get to the 10? What are we multiplying by? Yeah, well done. We're multiplying it by 10. So to convert from centimetres into millimetres, we need to multiply that centimetres by 10. Because remember, we know that millimetres is a lot smaller, so we can fit a lot more in those centimetres. So that's why our answer is going to be multiplied by 10 to get to the millimetres. But what about if we want to go back the other way? We want to convert from millimetres back to centimetres. What are we going to have to do there? Because to think about it, we've got lots of those millimetres and we're going to convert them into the bigger unit of centimetres. So let's have a little think. From the millimetres, what is going to happen to those centimetres? Right, 10 to get to 1. We've not multiplied by 10, but we have divided by 10. Okay, divided by 10. All right, that's not very, actually, I'm going to go over it. You can't really see that very clearly. So I'm going to quickly go over it. This Clyne can see that you can't really see divided by, and that pen's not working very well. Here we go, divided by 10. Okay, divided by 10. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. So we have divided by 10 here. Okay, so what about if we're looking at this idea, these of converting from metres into centimetres? So we're going from metres into centimetres. What have we done to the metre to get to the centimetres? So think about what's happening in that example. From 1 metre to get to centimetres, what are we doing? Right, good. We've multiplied it by 10 because it's got 100. Sorry, 100. We've got 100 times greater. So therefore, it's multiplied by 100. I got distracted by the top one. Okay, so 1 metre multiplied by 100 equals 100 centimetres. So we are converting by timesing by 100. But what about if we want to go from centimetres back to metres? So what's happening going the other way? Do you remember our model above? So what is happening to 100 to get to 1? What are we doing with that number? Good, we're dividing it by 100. It's getting 100 times smaller. Okay. And the last conversion we're going to think about is when you're converting from kilometres to metres. Okay, so remember kilometres, I couldn't show you what a kilometre was because it would go out the door, but I could show you the size of a metre. So remember that 1 kilometre is equivalent to 1,000 meters. So 1,000 meters fit into 1 kilometer. So what is happening from 1 kilometer to get to 1,000? 1 to 1,000. Good, you're multiplying by 1,000. And what's happening the other way? You're going from meters, you're converting it into kilometers. You're not multiplying by 1,000, but you are dividing by 1,000. Wrong colour. Perfect. So now we've got that in our heads and hopefully a little bit clearer. I'm wondering if you could have a go at trying to convert these. I would like to know what 30 millimeters is in centimeters. I would like to know what 4 meters is in centimeters. And I would like to know what shall I say? Let's do 6,000 meters is in kilometers. Okay, so have a go at that and then see what you come up with. I shall move the thing. I'm going to try and move the board, not the video, because every time I move the video, oh, I don't think you're going to see that end bit. Might be lucky. Might be lucky. You can see at the bottom. Right, we're going to have to make do with that, guys. Every time I move that video, unfortunately, it goes buffering. So we're not going to do that. So let's have a look at the 30 millimeters into centimeters. We're going to convert from 30 millimeters into centimeters. I'm going to look at my model up here. So I'm going to go from millimeters. So I'm looking at my millimeters. And I'm going to go back to centimeters. So I've got to think about my direction of my arrow. I'm going from millimeters back to centimeters. So what will that be? So it's going to have to be divided by 10 because it's 10 times smaller. So 30 millimeters is equivalent to 30 divided by 10 is equivalent to 3 centimeters. Okay. Right, what about 4 meters? What's that equivalent to how many centimeters? So I'm going to look at my conversion diagram. I'm going to think, right, I'm going from meters and I need to find out into centimeters. So what am I doing to the meters to get into centimeters? Yeah, you're right, I'm multiplying by 100. So I need to multiply 4 meters by 100. So 4 multiplied by 100 is 400 centimeters. And the last one, I don't know if you can see it, I'll hold it up. The last one, 6,000 meters is equivalent to how many kilometers? 6,000 meters. So again, I'm going to look at my conversion. I'm going from meters though. I'm going from meters and I'm going back to kilometers. So I need to go from meters to back to kilometers. I'm going to be dividing by 1,000. So 6,000 divided by 1,000 equals 6. Well done. Perfect. So I want you to have a little go at just giving yourself some whole numbers. Don't worry about decimals or anything at the moment. Just think about the whole numbers and really think about your place value of those numbers and those digits. Really think about what is happening with those digits when they're being divided by 10 or 100 or 1,000 or multiplied by 10, 100 or 1,000. And what I suggest you do is to make it a little bit easier, draw yourself a little place value. I'm going to just quickly, you can see here, draw yourself a little place value grid with headings, okay? And pop your number on you can use digit cards here, you can use little post-it notes and put the post-it notes under the correct column, yeah, with what you want to write. So imagine I've got 36 centimeters and I want to change it, 36 centimeters, and I want to change it, I want to convert it to millimeters. I'm going from 36 centimeters to 10 the millimeters, so I'm multiplying by 10. I know when I multiply numbers by 10, every digit needs to shift 1 place to the left because it's 10 times greater. Okay, so 36, and I've got a placeholder there, remember, it doesn't just go to nothing. 36 multiplied by 10 equals 360. Okay, So I'm 36 centimetres. To convert into millimetres, I would have to do 36 multiplied by 10, which equals 360. Okay, so have a go at setting yourself some of those. Just that's really good practice just to go over and get that digit shifting and that understanding. But really think about these models here, and you could do some little conversion models there, like I did on the right. It's on your left, but it's on my right, to help you, and you can draw them out. Make them really colourful, do different arrows, different colours and things. So it would really help you. All right, so good luck, happy calculating, and we shall see each other soon. Bye.